Okay, so this video is long overdue because I think this happened like maybe about 2 weeks ago. But JJ Watt. Now, I feel like JJ definitely deserves his own video. Even though he is technically a liar. But yeah, JJ Watt. Now, I was at work when uh I saw the news. I opened up Twitter and I seen Texans are releasing star JJ Watt. And even though I don't really care about the Texans anymore like that, even though everyone and their mom knew that this was gonna happen, it still kinda, hurt my chest. I was like, oh, my chest. Um, yeah, JJ Watt. We already know who JJ Watt is, what he means to the city, and all that good stuff, all the plays that he made on the field, you know the devastating injuries that really kind of derailed his career. I mean, don't get me wrong, JJ should still be a first ballot Hall of Famer. JJ Watt will one day be inducted into the Texans Ring of Honor, and you know all that good stuff. But if we're being honest, if JJ Watt would have never suffered any of those injuries, Watt would have gone down as the best player or defensive player, because Brady's freaking GOAT. But JJ would have gone down as the best defensive player of all time. Because if he didn't get hurt, there's no telling what JJ would have been able to do. He probably would have had two more Defensive Player of the Year awards to his name. He probably, could have maybe won MVP one of these past few years. Even though he should have won MVP in 2014, what Rodgers did in 2014, yeah, it was a good season, but it was, something we've seen time and time again. What JJ was doing in 2014, we had never really seen any of that. So JJ, even though the Texans didn't make the playoffs that year, JJ should have been the MVP that year. But yeah, JJ made a lot of plays on the field, and I know a lot of people booed him when he got drafted. At that point, I was like, I wouldn't say like a new Texans fan, but I was, at that point really starting to get into football more, because I didn't become really a fan of the Texans until like 2008. That's like when I really got into football. So at that point, when we drafted JJ, I remember that. I remember a lot of people were pissed, but at that point, I understood the pick. I was like, okay, so they're gonna draft this tubby guy, and he's gonna be in the middle, and he's gonna help Mario Williams get to the quarterback. And we had terrible DBs at that point, so it's like, okay, so you got Mario Williams and this tubby, and they're gonna get to the quarterback, and yeah, it's gonna be good, because that means the terrible corners don't have to cover that long. So that was my thought process. I was like never really mad that they drafted Watt, and the reason I'm calling Watt a tubby is because when he got drafted, he wasn't the Watt he was now. He was like built different, like not built different as in like I'm built different, because like I'm a freaking beast, But he was just like pudgy, I guess. He didn't become into like this hunk of a man to like his second or third year. So yeah, I wasn't mad at it, and even though a lot of people were mad at it, they quickly changed their opinion, especially after that interception, the pick six against the Bengals that busted the game open in the playoffs. And, from that moment, the legend of Watt began. Like, the countless plays the following year in 2012, I remember, Brian Cushing went down. I believe it was week 5 against the Jets with the torn ACL. And at that point, Brian Cushing was the guy for the Texans defense. Like, that defense was Brian Cushing's defense. Cushing was like flying around, making plays everywhere. But, once Cushing went down, people were like, oh my God, the Texans defense is screwed. But no, JJ Watt, the legend of Watt kept on growing, got 20.5 sacks that year, won his first Defensive Player of the Year award. an all-pro, Pro Bowler, and all that good stuff. And, following year, Texans went on a 14-game losing streak. Even though JJ only had 10.5 sacks that year, JJ was still out there making plays. And then, the following year was 2014, where JJ was catching touchdowns, had that 80-yard, I believe it was an 80-yard pick six, 80-yard pick six against Buffalo, that fumble return against Indy. So, the legend of JJ just kept growing and growing and growing throughout the years. But, I feel like the stuff he did off the field, kind of takes away, or not really takes away, but the stuff he did off the field, even though he did a bunch on the field, even though when he was on the field he made a bunch of plays, what he would do off the field was more than that. It was more important to the city of Houston than what he was doing on the field. Like, J.J. Watt was the face of Houston sports. You can talk about, James Harden and all that. You can talk about, Altuve, Correa, Springer. They won a championship. But no matter what they did, J.J. Watt was still Houston. And even when the Texans got Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt was still Houston. And, Watt's name will always, have huge ties to Houston. Watt will always be Houston. And I really hope that J.J. Watt doesn't pull a DeAndre Hopkins and, starts trashing the Texans. Because, honestly, that would really hurt, with D-Hop, he's a diva, whatever, I'm over it. But if JJ starts pulling that stuff, it's going to hit different because of all the stuff that he did off the field. You guys know, the little softball charity games he would do, all the countless donations he would do. And then not to mention, the Hurricane Harvey situation where he wanted to raise, what was it, $500,000? Dude ended up raising, $37 million. Yeah. The dude... I wish JJ the absolute best. I really, really do, because he means a lot to the city of Houston. And I really hope that one day, there's a JJ Watt statue outside of Houston. I hope that one day they rename Kirby Drive to Watt Avenue or something like that. I feel like JJ deserves that. I really do. And, it sucks that he's gone. But he definitely deserved the opportunity to go chase the ring. Now, here's the thing, though. You want to chase a ring, you go team up with Aaron Rodgers. You go team up with Russell Wilson, even though, that situation over there is kind of, interesting, to say the least. You go team up with, maybe someone else. But you want to go team up with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, bro. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, at this point, I just believe he was chasing money. I don't think he was actually chasing a ring. Now, don't get me wrong. The Cardinals are definitely a playoff contender this year, in my opinion. At least in my opinion. I think they can make the playoffs this year. But I mean, in a division with Russell Wilson, in a division with Sean McVay, with his new quarterback, Matthew Stafford, yeah, those Arizona Cardinals, they might be a third-place team in that division. I mean, they could be. A conference that has Aaron Rodgers, a conference that has Tom Brady, bro, those Bucks might repeat. That Packers team with Aaron Rodgers is going to be hard to beat. And Sean McVay with Matthew Stafford, that's a 13-14 win team, in my opinion. So, I don't know. I feel like JJ didn't choose the right team, but hey, maybe Kyler Murray takes a huge step forward this year, and ends up being an MVP caliber player. But I mean, yeah, I wish JJ the best of luck. I hope that JJ does end up winning a ring because he definitely deserves it. And I hope when JJ finally decides to hang him up, he signs a 1 day contract with the Texans and retires a Houston Texan. And I hope when that day does come, I hope that they retire his jersey. Or maybe not retire, but, do how they did Andre Johnson and stopped handing number 80 out. Stop handing number 99 out. Like, do not let anybody else wear number 99 for the Houston Texans. And yeah, like I said, you know, I wish him the best. I hope we get a JJ Watt statue, and I hope they rename a street after him or something. Like I think he deserves all that for all that he's done on and off the field. And honestly, I feel like Andre Johnson deserves the same thing. I think we need an Andre Johnson statue, even though I know they have like a big Andre Johnson bobblehead outside of NRG. I don't know if it's still there, but I know I've seen it like a few times on Twitter. But yeah, bobbleheads are lame. Like bobbleheads are like so like I don't know, 2002 type stuff. Like bobbleheads are whack. Get a statue, man. Statues are cool. Statues are the new thing. Like if you don't have a statue, you're a loser. So give Andre and JJ his statues. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the whole JJ situation. Thank you, JJ. Thank you for all you've done. For the city of Houston. Even though I'm not necessarily like that big of a diehard Texans fan anymore, I can always appreciate everything that he's done for the city of Houston as a Houstonian. So that's all I'm gonna say on that. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe your opinions on JJ. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.